Between 1980 and 1989, the number of unique video game titles released in America on computers, home consoles, or in arcades totaled over 8,000. The exact number is uncountable. So it stands to reason that the number of playable female protagonists would be similarly uncountable, but there were 84, and I'm going to tell you about each and every one. In this 50-part series, I'll spend each episode focusing on a specific character or game, diving deep into their history and explaining how they fit into the wider context of 80s pop culture. You might call this excessive. I call it video dames. But first, we need to set some ground rules. Rule number 1, the character must be playable. This means no NPCs or villains, even if their name is in the title. Rule number 2, the character must be original to video games, no licensed properties or public domain characters. Rule number 3, the character must have a name. A lack of a name, with few exceptions, generally indicates a lack of thought put into the character, which leaves me with a lack of anything to talk about. The magic of a name is that sometimes it's all it takes to transform a simple sequence of pixels into a full-blown protagonist. I should also note that because I'm approaching this from an American perspective, I'll only be covering games that were released in the US, because we don't care what happens in the rest of the world. I'm just kidding. Only most Americans don't care what happens in the rest of the world. But I won't let them stop me from doing a few specials about dames America missed out on. But before we jump into the 80s, I need to catch you up on what happened in the 70s. Humans didn't exist in the earliest video games. You controlled spaceships or simple dots. The only on-screen human was your own reflection. But if you were one of the lucky few with access to a GT40 vector display running a tough-as-nails computer simulation called Moonlander, you were in for quite a surprise from this particular spaceship. The first human-shaped sprite. The only catch is that you weren't in control when he left the ship. The first playable human sprites appeared in Tato's Basketball, designed by future Space Invaders creator Tomohiro Nishikado. But as you can see, these people were little more than human-shaped pong paddles. They lacked movement. Nishikado rectified this with Western Gun, the first game to feature a walking animation. The same month, Atari released Shark Jaws, the first game with a swimming animation. And the first and only game in the 70s to feature a female sprite was Exidy's Score. Unfortunately, no footage or screenshots of the game currently exist, so there's no way to know what her sprite looked like. I'm hoping a working cabinet will be found sooner than later, but in the meantime, let me tell you what I do know. Score was designed by Howell Ivey, based on an idea by Exidy's president. Ivy tells me the game was essentially a sprite swap of Destruction Derby and Death Race, using the same logic board for the sake of economy. In Destruction Derby, the goal is to drive your car into as many computer-controlled cars as possible. Death Race made headlines by replacing the other cars with pedestrians, gremlins, sparking the very first controversy over violence in video games. Score replaced the tombstones with hearts, replaced the cars with humans, and replaced the gremlins with humans of the opposite gender. A switch located in between the two joysticks allowed you to choose whether the player character was male or female, making this the first game to include a gender option. But what did the character sprites look like? If we want to understand the visual evolution of character sprites in the history of video games, the first playable female sprite is an essential piece of the puzzle. Without it, the puzzle remains forever unsolved. On the next episode, we look at the first playable female sprite of the 80s, who was similarly lacking a name, and also her clothes. I know it's cliché to say like and subscribe, but this is a very small channel, and every little bit helps. If you enjoy this series and want it to continue, please consider supporting this channel on Patreon. Thanks for watching.